Right, ladies and gents, thank you for coming to this post-match press conference. We've got our Director of Rugby, Mr. Jake White. We've got people here on the floor and we've got some people online. We'll start with questions here on the floor, and then after that, we'll give the guys who are online a chance. The floor is open for questions.
Jake, is it fair to say that your team only really fired for 20 minutes and the rest of the game just went typical of it?
Yeah, I mean, Ken, I just chatted to them now. I think if I sum that game up, we found a way to lose. That we didn't, we looked like a team that, didn't show enough composure, and we've been very good at that since I've been here. When we sort of had that fight back and got the lead, we almost, gave away some stupid penalty and let them back in the game. So that's the disappointing thing. I think the disappointing thing is that we found a way to lose that game, as opposed to like we usually have, is found a way to win games like that.
Obviously, the loss of Morné Smith was a big setback.
Yeah.
But they targeted two aspects. They targeted the scrums,
yes.
The momentum, and
yes.
there's also the breakdowns with Dion for a brilliant game.
Correct.
Didn't you see this coming, and how big was the loss? Specifically the breakdowns.
Yeah.
And how bigger loss was Morné Smith?
Yeah, I mean, Morné Smith. Yeah, so that's exactly it. I mean, you don't foresee that you're going to lose your prop in the first carry of the game, and then a guy like Jacques has to play, 78 minutes against Kitsy, who was one of the best in the world. So. Yeah, I mean, that's not no one's fault. I mean, Kitsy's, we all know how good Kitsy is against most international props. I mean, he can dominate. So it wasn't ideal. And on the breakdown, we always know that Dion, he's very good on the ground. But we thought, we still scored 4 tries and we still had opportunities to get around them. We just, as I said, don't want to take anything away from the fact that we lost the game, but we knocked the ball on 1 meter from the try line there. We gave a penalty away in that corner when we were on their try line as well. So when we had our chances, as I said, at halftime, they had 2 entries into our 22 and they scored 2 tries. So, yeah, it's not the ideal thing, but we'll get it right. We'll get it right. It's not, as I said, it's the first time I've lost at Loftus. It's not great, but we'll get up on Monday and we'll make sure we get it right.
Speaking of where you said you summed up the 20 minutes, basically lost the game. Is it safe to say also, turning it a little bit around, that you actually wait for this 1 or 2 local Loftus wins, and then you can turn around your
yeah, well, I was hoping. We haven't had crowds, and we get crowds today, and I was hoping that would be the catalyst. I mean, they were incredible, making such a noise, and when we got on top there, you could hear them, So I was hoping that when the crowds come back, we'll find another level, and that's what I suppose disappointing as well, because we probably didn't do them justice, And the other thing is our change rooms being rebuilt, so we have to use the away change room, and away change rooms don't usually win, so we'll go back to our normal change room.
Jake, in terms of your play management, your URC team, your K-Cup team, you've noticed obviously some senior players, Baldstrom, for want of a better word, the K-Cup team with great success. What is your approach going forward now?
Well, to win the Currie Cup, because we're going to say it's one of our prestigious competitions, which it is, and we've won it twice. Not many teams get to win it 3 times in a row, so we're going to go hard to win the Currie Cup. But at the same time, it doesn't mean we diminishing the URC. We've got the squad, and I think what's important for the people to understand is our job is to develop this team over the next couple of years. It's not just about Saturday. Sure, it's tough to lose, but for me as director and for me as a coach looking at this group of players, we want to grow this team in the next couple of years. And if they can get exposure to URC and Currie Cup, and they get exposure to play amongst each other, Marcel could see it playing with Ludwig and a hooker like Bismarck scrumming with Simpiwe and Sebastian Lombard. I mean, that's part of the development process that we're looking at. So, yeah, I really don't want to underestimate or devalue any competition. I think for us, it's about growing this squad of players. I mean, Ulrich Lowe, I'll talk about him often, but he's young. He's a young guy, His body hasn't even filled out. So in a couple of years' time, him and Ruan and Janku Swanepoel and Morné Smith and those players, Grobbies, when their bodies fill out, they become a little bit more mature, and then we'll have, then hopefully we'll have the perfect team. So, yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Summing up, Currie Cup is very important to us. And I'd like it to always be like that. I think as an old school traditionalist, we must never, ever make the Currie Cup just a watered down competition. There's too much history and too many players who've given up a lot to win that trophy, and we've got to make sure that we keep it like that, especially, if we can at the Bulls.
Like you spoke about the decision making on the field.
Yeah.
Have you decided on a captain for the Currie Cup and for?
No. So part of this thing is also allowing players to grow as captains, and Marcel is our captain. He came off the bench. What do? You say at halftime, listen, you take over. It's not really the great way to do it if you've announced the guy to be a captain. But I think between them, Marcel, Arnu, Cornel, Hendricks, even Bismarck du Plessis, who's captained the Sharks when I was there, I would like them all to help each other make the squad much better. It's easy now when I look and the decision making just for me was, I think we probably just a little bit hasty at certain things. We had them on the ropes, and all the years that I've been here, all the seasons I've been here, that's generally when we get it. We at our best is we squeeze them, and then we put them away. And the disappointing thing today is we had them after working so hard, and almost just through lack of concentration, let them back into the game. And credit to them, credit to them. You saw how they celebrated. It shows you it's important for them to beat the Bulls.
And the final decision not to go to for the 3 points.
Yeah, well, if we'd scored there, Bismarck was down the touchline. If we'd scored there, that's the margins you talk about. If Mornay missed the conversion, if he kicks it over and we get that penalty, we would have gone for poles and we would have made the game almost closed. So, yeah, I trust them. Many times we kicked in the corner and we scored and we've won the game. And sometimes they're going to get it right, sometimes they're not. And that's, again, part of this development that we've got to get together as a group.
2 more from the floor, and then we go to the crowd online.
Like you said, up until the last minute was anybody's game.
Yes.
So if you look past the loss, are you satisfied? You must be satisfied that for the way your bench changed this game, and especially for the future, to know because that kind of players on the bench.
Yeah, if you just analyze that game, after 40 minutes, because the Hooter had gone, we were 18-0 down. For a team to come back from 18-0 down to 26, points from them, you've got to have something. You've got to have some fighting spirit, And we'll, as I said, it's not nice. If we had won that game, there would obviously be a lot more emotion to the fact that what we did was right, but we didn't. So we'll have to get it right. We'll find a way to learn from that. It's not ideal, but as I said, I'm very proud of the fact that from 40 minutes to the 80th minute, we won 26-12. And not many teams that are going to go down to the Stormers 18 points and then lose 30-26.
Last one from the floor.
Is it a question of Manoj having a little bit of jitters right in the beginning? What happened with the first and after time, and then Manoj made up for his errors later on?
I must say the only thing that, and I said, we've got to look at is the space we gave them behind. They scored 2 tries from grubbering through, which means, obviously the communication of that back three. Had we played, it's no one's fault, but had we played Kirkley there, people would have said he's out of position. So, it's something we'll have to have a look at. Simon, it's not ideal. Twice, it was quite easy for them just to get through and score that try. I'm sure teams will see that and try and expose that. But it's we'll get, as I said, those are sort of things that back three will have to start talking about and working out and finding a way in which we can get it right. Because at this level, when you make those 2 mistakes, it's 14 points.
We'll now go to our colleagues online. We'll start with Ashfaq, and then Leighton also has his hand up. So in that order, Ashfaq and then Leighton.
Hi, good evening, Jake. Coming back from 18-0 down and taking the lead, you mentioned perhaps it was almost like you lost the game there. Early on, that first penalty wasn't kicked to poles, was taken to touch, and the errors came through with the handling. Do you think perhaps the guys got caught up a bit in trying to sort of match the Stormers in whatever way they were playing, instead of just sticking to what you wanted to do?
No, Ashfaq, not going for poles in the beginning, and we knocked the ball on the try line. As I said, if we scored there, it would have been a fantastic call. And sometimes we've done it and we have scored. So I'm not. And then when we did go for poles, we missed the penalty. So you know, the point is that you're never going to get it right unless you look at the end of the game. And if you're going to win this comp, you're not going to win it by scoring 9 points in the game. You're going to have to score bonus points tries. I mean, you look at, you know, sides like Leinster and those sides, they're not going to win the competition 9-6. So, I mean, we backed ourselves to get in the corner there, and we didn't execute. You know, as I said, Bismarck went down the touchline there. I mean, we were leading then, I think 26, if the game would have been over, we scored again, and we turned the ball over with a penalty. So, yeah, I don't think we tried to play a little bit like the Stormers. We knew that they're going to play like that, and credit to them, Ashfaq. I mean, they played till the 80th minute at altitude and beat us with a long range try. So, you know, you don't have to be, you don't have to be sour about it. You've got to, we've enjoyed a lot of wins with this group. And sometimes, as I said, you've got to be humble by the fact that if you get it wrong, you've got to dust yourself off and come to work on Monday.
And just Morne Smith's injury, how bad is it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously the doc says he says it's not that bad, but I mean, any prop who can't play for a couple of weeks at tight head for us now, it is bad.
Leighton and then Quibus.
Thank you. Jake, hi there. Just on your, you said you are pleased with how the guys stood up and everything, but are you pleased with the position your team finds themselves in on the URC log?
No, well, obviously I'm not, Leighton. I mean, I don't, but, you know, I don't want to underestimate the competition. We've had 5-6 tough games, you know, and it's a tough comp. And, you know, when you guys have written very numerous times about a guy like Bruan Pino saying it's going to take a few years to get used to this URC, he's 100% right. You know, not only is it going to take any group a chance to get to know this URC competition, especially our group. Our group is relatively young. David Creel is young, you know, made some mistakes at the back there, you know. As I said, Ulrich's young, Grobis is young, Ruan Nokia is young. So, you know, it's not only that we need time to learn about URC, we need time as a group. And I've said it since I started here, we need time to grow as a squad as well. And, you know, it's wonderful when you win because, you know, obviously maybe things aren't highlighted like they are tonight. When you lose or when you don't get things right and you allow teams to beat you, then, you know, there's other ways in which you can sort it out. I mean, we're either winning or we're learning.
Just lastly from me,
Quibus.
how much?
Yes. Sorry.
Just
Quibus.
Hi, Jake. Good evening. I'm fine if Leighton quickly wants want to follow up.
Yes, Leighton.
thanks. How much do you think your video in the week spurred the Stormers on? Coming from your marketing team, do you think that could have been halted a bit till after the game?
Yeah, I didn't see the video, so I mean, as I said, we don't watch the videos. A lot of videos that go out that we're not privy to. So I really don't believe that any video influences the way you play 80 minutes on a game at Loftus.
Jake, good evening. Quibus here. Are you a bit sad that unbeaten record's gone now, or was that something that was bound to happen at some stage?
Yeah, look, Quibus, it was always going to happen. I mean, you can never go here and win every single game at Loftus as much as you'd like to believe that. I mean, some of the greatest sides in the world, I mean, you know, have lost at home over a period of time. I mean, I know I was in France when Clermont won 77 times at home, and eventually some team came there and beat them. So, yeah, I mean, it's the way it is. As I said, take nothing away from the Stormers. They played well tonight, and they took their chances. And, you know, as I said, we found a way. You know, that penalty where Madosh, you know, again, there's so many ways of looking at it. He fell, he got tripped. He got cut off by one of the locks there. He fell at the guy's feet. Maybe the decision would have been a penalty to us for cutting him off on the way to trying to contest that ball. And then next thing we on their try line and we win the game. So the margins are small, and I'm fully aware of that. And yeah, so it's not ideal, but you know, as I said, we'll get it right. We'll get it right. You know, we've had a good run and we've enjoyed the time that we can actually, you know, win at Loftus. And, you know, we've got to make sure that we sort it out. And the only way we're going to do is we're going to work hard.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Coach Jake. We'll have Coach Dobbo coming up shortly.